Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now April 10th of 2021, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2's finale, when we got the introduction of Luke Skywalker, done by Jon Favreau, and Peyton, the director, who did a fantastic job, I must add. Ever since then, of course, a lot of fans have been very confused on whether or not both Jon and Dave are going to be able to pull things off, ever since the Gina Carano firing. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, keep in mind, guys, is that we do know that Jon and Dave are working around the clock with shows like Ahsoka, Mandalorian, and others out there like Kenobi. They are involved to a degree on that show with Deborah Chow. So they have their hands full, and that's just the beginning. We're going to have a lot more shows to be announced later this year, leading into Star Wars Celebration of 2022, which is also going to be a big time. Now, the thing about Gina Carano, alright, a lot of fans were endlessly canceling their Disney Plus subscriptions, pretty much because of what they saw with Gina Carano getting fired by Lucasfilm. Not just the fact that she got fired, but exactly how she was fired, and how she was how she was actually informed on how she got fired through Twitter and hashtag trends and all these different aspects, right? So, obviously, since then, Jon and Dave have really been trying to work things up and really trying to make things up for the fans. We know that they are going to be delivering tons of Star Wars Legends content, which, by the way, I believe is going to be pretty exciting to say the least. We talked about how they are going to be using many aspects of Dark Empire and the Thrawn trilogy from Star Wars Legends back in the 1990s. Now, moving on from this, what's really intriguing all has to do with Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm as a company, and everything to do with actress Gina Carano, alright? So, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are focused on their new Star Wars universe, it's best described that both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are currently creating projects such as Ahsoka and Kenobi at the same time, alongside Mando Season 3 and 4. However, since the Gina Carano firing, the Star Wars fandom has been canceling their Disney Plus subscriptions, and that many setbacks have been put in place by both Favreau and Filoni for the Mandalorian series. However, recently, actress Gina Carano was able to speak about the leadership of Lucasfilm, such as Kathleen Kennedy, and more to do with her firing. In a recent interview, Gina Carano went on to explain that the leadership over at Lucasfilm was by far the most incompetent company that she had worked for in her acting career, stating that President Kathleen Kennedy would often undo many decisions that were meant to be set in stone, which would halt some of the business-related decisions with the marketing of the Mandalorian series. Gina continues to unveil that Kathleen Kennedy endlessly would try and get Jon Favreau to tweak or change the endings of his episodes when things were not going her way on the set of the TV series. Gina unveils that Jon Favreau would often get very frustrated by the higher-ups over at Lucasfilm, since he is, of course, a passionate Star Wars fan and only wants the best for the fandom, and that business-related decisions would often get in his way for Season 1 of the series. Now, Gina Carano also unveils that there are many others over at Lucasfilm, of those who are loyal to Kathleen Kennedy, that also tried to get other Lucasfilm employees fired or in trouble, and that those are ones that actually held different opinions apart from those who are loyal to the Lucasfilm higher-ups, such as Kathleen Kennedy as a prime example. Now, what's really interesting about this, alright, this is a very important thing that I think a lot of fans need to know right now, is that Gina Carano next month, alright, May, into June as well, the month after that, she's going to be doing more interviews. We're not quite sure exactly with who. It could be with Joe Rogan. It could be with somebody on the actual media that's actually on television. It could be something around those lines. It could be radio. We don't know. We absolutely don't know as of yet, but she is going to be unveiling more and more about Lucasfilm next month, leading into June as well. So that's very exciting, because we're going to get, a more detailed side of her story than what we got on the Ben Shapiro interview. By the way, it could also be him again for all we know. The other thing is this, is that when we go ahead and take a look at everything here in depth, alright, The fact that Kathleen Kennedy would often backtrack on business-related decisions that were set in stone, that would only cause trouble for, you know, the marketing of The Mandalorian and other projects out there, this time and time again just proves that Kathleen Kennedy is not only incompetent as a producer and as a president of Lucasfilm, but also as an overall leader, alright? She does not know how to lead an actual company. She let alone doesn't even know Star Wars at the end of the day, so what can we really expect, right? Kathleen Kennedy, I'm sure that you all know that she is indeed connected to the Indiana Jones movie. And let me just tell you right now is that my actual excitement for that movie just went down the drain. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to, you know, hold this back. My excitement for the Indiana Jones film completely went downhill over, you know, what we actually learned just a day or two ago. We all know that it's all Kathleen Kennedy's, you know, decision here to do such a thing with, you know, Indiana Jones, but I digress. When we go ahead and look at Gina Carano, alright, Jon Favreau, alright, the fact that Favreau would often get interrupted by Kathleen Kennedy on the set of Season 1 of The Mandalorian. This, of course, took place well before Kathleen Kennedy lost her creative power. Let's not forget that when he was producing the show throughout 2019, while The Rise of Skywalker was still in the works, alright, Kathleen Kennedy still had some form of creative control over The Mandalorian. It wasn't until Season 2 started really going into production where she lost that creative power, and that's exactly why Season 2 is so rich in material. It's why Season 2 has all of the great characters like Ahsoka, Luke, Boba Fett, Bo-Katan. We're going to get more of those types of characters in Mandalorian Season 3 and 4. That's only going to continue, you know, time and time again with these beloved characters by Jon Favreau to be inserted into this new expanded universe. So that's another thing to look forward to. Everything related to Jon Favreau, let me just say, I mean, he's a great guy after all. This guy knows the Star Wars fans. He knows how they think. He knows what they want to see either on the big screen or at home on Disney+. Let's not forget that this is the man that started the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with 2008's Iron Man 1. This is the guy that started it all, you know, over 10 years ago. Isn't that crazy? And not only that, you know, he has been a big character in the MCU, you know, Happy. He played Happy multiple times, and of course, we're not going to see him as much because he's very much invested with Star Wars now, so that's okay. He can most likely make time for some movies, but I think that obviously Jon Favreau is a person that is truly dedicated to his work. He is really going to give it his all when it comes to this new universe with Mando, Ahsoka, other TV shows out there. How Dave and John are also somewhat involved with the Kenobi series, pulling some strings. That's really exciting to me. They are very well in the talks with Deborah Chow, you know, guiding her, you know, how to actually handle everything, and also taking some roles in the writing of these episodes. So like I said before in the past, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I'm not the one from night to moon.